We did meet with him in the field and resolved the vast majority of the issues that we observed in terms of, this was primarily related to concrete work and a couple of other pieces of the finish.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Do we just allow people to?
Is there a reason you're just walking on the council floor uninvited? You can go sit back down in the audience, please. Mr. Mayor, we're in the middle of a discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr.
I'm
Mayor,
joining my team at the-
Mr. Mayor, sit back in the audience. You have not been invited to this table for discussion.
Mr.
Motion
President,
to
by
recess.
charter.
We're in recess. I don't know what you think.
That was a recent clip of the mayor of Fall River trying to crash a city council meeting. Jaziel Correa has just been arrested again, is the most recent update from today, for taking cash bribes this time. Correa was an up-and-coming name for the Democrat Party. He was elected as the youngest mayor of Fall River at 23 years old, pictured here with Elizabeth Warren. He had previously been arrested related to a business that he had been operating, and just in the last couple of weeks he tried to crash this city council meeting, and you saw what happened there in that clip. And just today, most recent update, they're saying that he's been arrested once again. They're saying at least 4 business owners paid a total of $600,000 in bribes to Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa, according to authorities. So pictured here again. Massachusetts mayor arrested today on charges that he conspired to extort hundreds of thousands of dollars from companies seeking to operate pot businesses, federal authorities said. Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa brazenly accepted cash bribes in exchange for issuing official letters needed to obtain a license to set up a pot business, authorities alleged. At least 4 business owners paid a total of $600,000 in bribes to the mayor, and he used the money to support a lavish lifestyle and cover mounting legal bills. Correa was extorting these vendors. U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts telling news conference after the mayor's arrest, went on to say, quote, "It's striking the lengths he went to get the money and the seeming indifference with how overt his activities were." It's maybe not surprising, though, given Correa's past. Correa's lawyer, they're saying, did not respond to messages seeking comment Friday. Just in this most recent case, they're saying in one instance, Correa walked into a vendor's office and simply asked for $250,000 to issue one of the letters. Another time, Correa was paid $75,000 in cash while sitting in the back seat of a car. He promptly handed over a signed letter. Once a rising political star in Massachusetts, possible big upcoming name for the Democrats up until very recently, Correa has remained in office despite efforts to force him out for months now amid these legal troubles. He was already facing charges on accusations that he stole investor funds to bankroll a lavish lifestyle. He has pleaded not guilty to those charges. I've covered some details of that case already in previous videos. This latest investigation, which also involved agents from the FBI and IRS, highlighted the potential for abuse in Massachusetts retail pot industry, authorities said Friday. Under state law, a so-called non-opposition letter is required to obtain a license to operate such a business. The head of the local government issues the letters, which say that he or she has verified that the business is inside a permissible zoning district. Correa has issued at least 14 of these letters, including 2 for his current girlfriend's brother, authorities said. It was not clear if authorities were alleging that there was any illegal activity involved in the issuing of this letter to the brother. Another quote says, "We are a little concerned. Local mayors can be sorely tempted. That single letter can be the ticket to a very lucrative business." So this bribery arrest, the most recent update on the mayor, and another weird update. You saw that clip at the beginning of this video, that short clip of the mayor trying to crash this city council meeting. That also happened just within the past few weeks. It was last month that the mayor apparently did not like how his administration's premier project was being characterized during this city council meeting as he watched remotely from home. So Correa drove to the council chambers to defend it in person. Things escalated from there, as you saw in that clip. They add that during the 45-minute break after this recess was called, after the mayor refused to leave, the mayor tried to defend himself, saying that he had been watching the live stream of the meeting from home and took exception to what he felt was an exaggeration of problems with a local street improvement project. News outlets had already talked about how several councillors were highly critical of the Correa-backed initiative, this project that was backed by the mayor, which they said had gone over budget and tore up part of a newly paved downtown street. They also, once more, point to how this has been escalating, saying it's not the first time that Correa has clashed with the city council in the wake of his arrest last year. This article came out, this article that we're looking at here, came out just after he tried to crash this city council meeting, and it was before the second arrest that we're learning of today. But they had been talking about how city council had already been turning on the mayor after his previous arrest from last year. The 9-member panel approved a no confidence vote in Correa by an 8-1 margin. That was last November. The mayor, who is up for re-election in November, says that they're out to get him. I guess we'll see if the mayor even makes it to re-election. Article from his first arrest saying how Correa had all the makings of a rising star in the Democrat Party. While still an undergraduate at Providence College, he was appointed to a seat on the city council in his hometown of Fall River in 2013. This is while he was still in college. The first arrest after charges, this was amid charges that he stole almost $250,000 from 7 people who had invested in his startup and spent the money on adult entertainment, airfare, dating services, designer clothes, hotels, jewelry, trips to casinos, and a Mercedes-Benz. Hours later, he pleaded not guilty to 13 counts of wire and tax fraud. This is related to his startup called Snow Owl, a smartphone app that would connect businesses with consumers. It was evidence that despite his age, he had the leadership skills necessary to run the city, or that's how they tried to frame it. At 26 years old, Correa was then accused of using the company as his own personal ATM and defrauding investors who were unwittingly funding his lavish lifestyle and political career. In the unsealed indictment, prosecutors allege that Correa stole more than $231,000 in total, which he also used to pay off his student loans, fund his political campaigns, and make charitable donations in his own name. The sum, they point out, amounts to roughly 6 times the median household income in Fall River. Prosecutors allege that Correa routinely lied to potential investors, telling them that he had previously sold another smartphone app for a large profit. Within a month of receiving his first investor's $50,000 check in January of 2013, the indictment says, Correa went out and bought a black 2011 Mercedes sports sedan. For the next 2 years, prosecutors allege he would go on to use investors' money to pay off his credit cards, stay at luxury hotels, and spend tens of thousands of dollars on his then girlfriend. Then in 2015, as the company foundered, Correa announced that he would run for mayor. After winning the race, he became increasingly unresponsive to investors and software developers. The indictment says he also allegedly filed fraudulent tax returns to conceal the scheme from the IRS. Quote says, to date, no Snow Owl investor has received any return or interest on his investment, and the business of Snow Owl is essentially worthless. At the time, they said that the arrest was a shock to many in the city, which had prided itself on a tradition of honest government, hard work, and public service. It's a quote from an FBI agent at a news conference after the first arrest, saying, yet its mayor was far from honest, selling out his friends and associates for his own personal gain. And another big update, adding to all this other arrest today. So we'll have to see how this continues, what is next for the mayor of Fall River, what is going to happen next. Please let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Any other details, I'll follow up here. I also have a link in the video description to my Patreon account, patreon.com/realityreader. It's one place where you can support this channel. Even $1 or $2 makes a huge difference, helps me keep talking about these issues. There's also a link to my PayPal, paypal.me/realityreader. Both links are in the video description. Let me know what you think, and I will follow up soon. Thanks, everyone.